Hi Shay, here's my presentation about using language effectively. He wanted us to put together 2 scenarios about listening from our past, and I'd like to do that now. I come from a sales background. I've been to a few sales meetings, and the particular sales meeting I want to talk to you about was given by a new sales manager. His name's Cliff. And Cliff was from the East Coast. He was from Boston. And in Boston, as with many big sports towns, they were crazy about their teams. Patriots, Sox, and the Celtics. And unfortunately, we heard about those teams all a little more often than we should have during our presentations. I would say probably about a third of the time we were talking about sports as opposed to what we should have been. Oftentimes that would lose people, especially those that aren't interested in sports, but especially those who were not interested in East Coast sports. So, my evaluation of that would have been criticism of the speaker. My strategy to fix that, had I taken this class, would have been social decentralization, or decentralizing. And with that, I should have taken into account his background. He was brought up in that big sports town, and at the time, like I said before, I think they were winning Super Bowls and the World Series. And of course, back in the day, the Celtics were the big deal. So that's how I could have helped him along. As to the second part of your assignment, it was to tell of another situation, listening, for Cliff. Right after he was talking about his sports teams, he tried to talk about actual sales figures, and by that time he kind of lost, half the audience, if not more. There was other side conversations going on, and people checking text messages and emails on their phones. So what he had going on the board was so busy, especially in the fact that he used an Excel spreadsheet that he apparently didn't look at on our projector, because on the projector the cells were very small. We couldn't even tell what our names were, more or less, the numbers on the board. So, information overload is where we were with that. What I could have done better at, had I taken this class, is empathize more with Cliff. I should have offered him more help in offering suggestions as to maybe emailing those figures out so we could have printed out copies and followed along with him, or he offering for him to actually hand out those sales figures before the meeting, that way we could follow along with him on the screen. And active listening would have been another way for me to have done that, or helped him along, because really, like I said, he had lost a lot of us. I could probably have helped him pull others together and tried to end conversations within the meeting. But I really didn't do that because I was lost in the meeting and not listening to him. But had I known some of the strategies that I've been reading about, I would have employed them and probably done a little bit better job at helping Cliff along and maybe even being a better sales guy.